Tua Tagovailoa is coming back this weekend, and the Miami Dolphins and Tyreek Hill and everybody's all excited. Tua's come back from the latest concussion he suffered about a month ago, 5 weeks ago. I don't think it's the right thing. He's not going to wear the helmet condom. Not that I'm for him wearing the helmet condom, but he's coming back out there. I don't think he's built for this game. I think it's irresponsible on his part. I think it's a bit irresponsible on the NFL and the Miami Dolphins part. This guy is very susceptible to concussions. I don't think this game is built for him. He wants to do it. Hats off to him. You know, I would never stop him. Look, Evel Knievel used to jump over cars and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, this is probably less dangerous than that. But your thoughts on Tua Tagovailoa coming back from his latest concussion, and do you think he'll make it through the season?
Yeah, the odds say no, and if he is Evel Knievel, I guess the remaining games are a Snake River Canyon for him. And speaking of the helmet condom, Jason, I don't see a lot of players wearing it, but those that do, I actually question, guys, do you think that actually prevents concussions? I look at those things and I say to myself, does that actually prevent the jarring of the brain? Because there are certain collisions in football, I don't care what you wear, short of being in a Pope mobile, you're not protected. It's like boxing with the headgear. I think people get knocked out during sparring with headgear. It happens. And guys that spar a lot will find out they think they're being protected, but they're still being hit and the inside of their brains are moving. And years later, for lack of a better term, they are in essence a little bit punch drunk. So, you know, I think a lot of that is about optics and about the guise of safety. Meanwhile, the NFL is adding more midweek games and coming off short weeks. Players have to play 3 games in 15 days at times. Now, Jason, I believe in free will. If Tua believes that he can play football and this is what he wants to do and he's cleared medically and he's gone through the protocol, I know it may not be a great look for the Dolphins or the National Football League, but there's a reality here. They want to win football games, and quite frankly, Jason, have you seen that Dolphins offense without him? I think if I'm a Dolphin fan, okay, and I'm not, I would say to myself, let's just give this one more shot because, quite frankly, I don't want to watch any more of this without him.
Guys, zero in because I want this discussion cut out as a separate because I'm going to make a prediction here. I'm going to go full Alex Jones, tinfoil hat. I'm going to express a concern of why I think the NFL should not allow Tua Tagovailoa to do this. So, Tua plays this weekend, next weekend, the weekend after that. Suffers another concussion. And this time, it's bad. And I mean, and he's damaged in some sort of way. And the game has to be stopped, like a Damar Hamlin situation. Did I say that his name right? It was a Damar Hamlin? Yeah, Damar Hamlin situation. It's some sort of bad deal. And Tua Tagovailoa ends up in some sort of Darryl Stingley. I'm not saying he's paralyzed, but just it's terrible. Tua is so likable, and he comes off so small and just he's just likable. If he gets hurt in a significant way while playing football, that will be the end of football. That will be the moment everybody will point to. Steve, I'm just telling you, it's like what went on in boxing when, you know, guys dying in the ring or whatever. If something horrible happens to Tua, when I say the end, I mean the end of that will begin the rapid decline of people tuning into football. There will be such an outpouring of why did the NFL do it? Then the lawsuit will come. And the next thing you know, when I say the end of football, I mean it will turn into even more flag football. And guys like me and you, when they go full-blown flag football and you can't even touch the quarterback, it'll be the beginning of the end. I think this is way too high risk for the NFL. Other guys could go out there and get hurt in the same way, and it won't have the impact because everybody will immediately turn around. They won't blame Tua. They're going to blame the NFL and the game of football. if I was the league, I wouldn't let him do this.
Well, Jason, first of all, when it comes to boxing, what really led to its decline was not situations like Dooku Kim or any ring fatalities, as bad as those are. Once boxing decided to get in bed with premium cable and relied on pay-per-view for their biggest events, that is what really is, I believe, hastened the decline of the sport as being mainstream. They eroded their own audience. That's where the National Football League still has a foothold on the major networks. All right, but that's a separate issue. I don't know. Do I ever think it's going to become flag football? It's probably a very physical version of it now compared to what it was in the 80s when NFL Films would put out videos like Crunch Course. And you had segments like You Got Jacked Up, which wasn't all that long ago on ESPN. But Jason, again, I believe that every player from Tua on down, they understand the risk and what can happen when you play this still very violent sport. And if he's cleared medically and he's gone through the protocol, and the Dolphins, quite frankly, are desperate because they have not found a Don Strock to come off that bench, I don't know what we can really do. But yeah, there's a risk. But guess what, Jason? There's a risk for every player that puts on a helmet and a pair of cleats in the National Football League.
Going back to your boxing deal, wasn't there the moment where Howard Cosell said, "I'm done"? Was it Randall Tex Cobb?
Yeah.
And again, that was a big media moment. What? Yes? No?
He was grandstanding because he was a kind of a bitter old guy. It was Randall Tex Cobb against Larry Holmes, I believe it was in 1981 or 82 at the Houston Astrodome. And the fight was just a one-sided beating for 15 rounds. And he said in the middle, "I cannot participate in this sport any longer." And Tex Cobb had the greatest line ever. Several months later, he's on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and he said, "I would have gone another 15 if the guy would quit football." So again, but Howard had an agenda. He was a little sick of it. There was no more Muhammad Ali that he could pair up with. But in my view, look, as long as there's gambling and fantasy football and things of that ilk, watch, Jason. Football will always hold our interest one way or the other.
Boxing still holds our interest, but just not to the level that it used to. Yeah, I'm just
it's a niche. Trust me,
I just think there's some risk here. But what do you think of my take, brother?
I'm not with you on that or the WNBA taking over the NBA. Those are just my two that I can't roll with you on. But Tua, I saw Tua in an interview the other day saying and questioning what we actually know about CTE and about concussions. The player himself is questioning whether or not we actually know that this is bad or good. He's rolling back out there, so.
Well, and that is where I agree with him. And Merrill Hodge and other people, like, this whole thing's been overcooked. But I smell. I got my conspiracy hat on. I don't want to go too far. People are going to call me crazy. They already are going to call me crazy. I am crazy. Like what you saw? Hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the full episode by clicking the link below.